So this is our second summer in our new home, and what we've missed most is having friends over for dinner. It's such a pain to go to those big box stores and carry home huge items. So we finally went to wayfair.com back in May, and we picked out deck furniture, a grill, fire pit, and yard games. Boom, easy, fast, free shipping. Last night was kind of magical, and it was simple. We had friends over, I grilled out, we had the fire pit going, kids playing cornhole, just good conversation and laughs. And we like Wayfair because it's one-stop shopping for everything we need inside and outside our home, with a great selection and great prices. So now after a long day or on weekends, we have an outdoor gathering space. And I do love grilling outside. Shop outdoor furniture, grills, lawn games, and way more for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to explore a huge outdoor selection. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. One of our big goals this year was sleeping better. We're going to bed earlier, love our bamboo sheets, and upgraded to our new LEESA mattress for cooling comfort. Mrs. Calm was having some back pain, and now that's gone. We sleep deeper and wake up feeling refreshed. From the very first night, you'll feel the difference. LEESA mattresses are meticulously designed and assembled in the U.S. for exceptional quality. Plus, they back it all up with free shipping, easy returns, and a 100-night sleep trial. The great thing about LEESA is that you can choose from super comfortable mattresses tailored to how you sleep without the luxury price tag. Go to leesa.com for 30% off mattresses through July 7th. Plus, get an extra $50 off with promo code CALM, exclusively for my listeners. That's LEESA.com, promo code CALM for 30% off mattresses plus an extra $50 off. Let them know after checkout that the Calm Parenting Podcast sent you. Leesa.com, promo code CALM. So do you have a child who walks into a room with a single-minded focus, declaring, I'm going to do this, without even asking your permission? Do you have a child who just has to complete this project before they go to bed, even though it's now well past bedtime? Well, you reasonably say no to their request, and it sets off a huge power struggle, meltdowns, arguing, throwing things, throwing words around. Probably also parents fighting over how to handle it. So, how can you handle these situations without losing your mind or your relationship? That is what we're going to discuss on today's episode of the Calm Parenting Podcast. So welcome, this is Kirk Martin, founder of Celebrate Calm. You can find us and our huge summer sale at celebratecalm.com. Two quick notes. I'm on a father-son hiking trip with our formerly demanding, strong-willed son, so I'm going to ask you to wait another couple weeks before sending any long emails. Now, we can handle anything kind of short, but I'm really trying to soak up this time with Casey. So, let's jump into this. When strong-willed kids wake up, they often picture something in their mind. And these visuals are very powerful because now they've got a vision, a mission, and they want to carry that out. And that is going to serve them so well in life as an entrepreneur and visionary. But it is going to cause endless power struggles with parents and teachers because your kids' ideas are going to come into conflict with what you and teachers want your kids to do each day. And I want to take you through a couple examples of how this can work. Now, just to be clear, we had a rule in our home that I was steadfast about. If Casey started demanding things of us, I would simply say, I don't do demanding. Just because your kids are strong-willed doesn't mean you let them run over you or act oblivious to the needs of others. So you always have that right to say no. But here are some other options. So let's take that child who gets an idea in their head and they won't let it go. And sometimes it's completing. Maybe they're building something, making something, and they just have to complete it before bedtime. But it's already 15 minutes past their bedtime, and they've promised 12 times, I'll be done in just a couple minutes. But it keeps dragging on, and you're tired, and you just want them to finally go to bed. But these are kids who have a single-minded focus to complete this project. And you can see It's going to take more than a couple more minutes. You're frustrated. There's tension. Your tone becomes short. The power struggle is coming. So here are a few options. I like giving options because these things are not just black and white. You can't do the same thing every time. You have to learn to read the moment. So one, look, you could simply say no and put the project up. Use an even matter-of-fact tone, stay steadfast, and it may prompt a huge meltdown, and that's okay. You're establishing a precedent here. You just have to endure it. That's an option. Just know that you're probably going to be in bed 2 hours from now. Number two, you could say with intensity, you know what? I love that you get a vision for doing these projects because they're so creative. I know you really, really want to see it finished tonight. I've got an idea. Let's put it up so no one can touch it and a dog can't knock it over. And I'll wake you up early tomorrow morning and I'll make your favorite breakfast while you get your project done while your brain is fresh. Now, I like that option and it will work sometimes, and sometimes it will not. If I can give you some hope and perspective, there isn't always the right answer or a good answer. Some nights are just going to be ugly, and that's normal. And you go to bed and you wake up and you start another day, anticipating more of these. But that one I like because you're acknowledging with some intensity. Man, I love that you like doing those projects. I know you really get it done, and then you pivot. Now, the other option is the old kind of, well, if you can't beat them, join them. Now, you are the parent, and you wield ultimate authority in your home. So you can grab that project, use a firm tone, and make them go to bed. But this isn't some competition to see who wins this power struggle. So you say, you know what, I'm going to go get a snack. I'm going to lay here on the floor while you finish your project. Because I really like your persistence and desire to complete things you finish. And you let them stay up and they'll be tired in the morning and your night didn't go as planned. But I would expect, make this your expectation, your agenda is going to be constantly messed up throughout their childhood. Or you can go and finish one of your chores or projects while they finish theirs. That way at least you're being productive. You give them a little kiss on the head and say, hey, let me know when you're done. I'm excited to see how it turns out. Now, are you really excited? No. You want them to go to bed so you can finally relax. Or not really, so you can get on with your 437 other projects and so they won't be crabby tomorrow. But this is the dance of parenthood, and it's normal. And you're not a bad parent if you choose to read the moment and handle it this way. Because you know the typical way does not work with this child. And you may just have to endure a spouse accusing you of coddling this child and letting him get away with things. But you're really just using wisdom. And so your child is content and proud of what he or she did and in bed an hour late, which is probably normal anyway. But if you just choose the hardcore path all the time, that meltdown's going to last till midnight. So use it with wisdom. Use different strategies on different nights. So here's another common situation. I was talking to this family whose child kind of geeks out on doing new things. Makes sense with our kids, right? Novelty, dopamine rush. Prefers adult type activities, which is perfect because we're raising our kids for the adult world. Do not miss that. And this child wanted to make coffee every morning. That makes sense to me. Casey drank coffee from a young age. It actually calmed him down and helped him focus. So their child comes in to the kitchen every morning intent on making coffee. Now, you as the mom or dad have 13 good reasons that your son or daughter should not make coffee right then. And all of your reasons are reasonable. We've talked about this, haven't we? It's not that you're doing anything wrong. That's what makes it so difficult with a strong-willed child, because the things that work on your compliant kids backfire on this child. It is also true that sometimes we as parents get in the habit of reflexively saying no to our kids. And isn't that a little ironic, given that our strong-willed kids reflexively say no to things that we ask them to do? So here's my challenge for you this week. I want you to catch yourself before you shut down the vision. Think for a couple seconds and then find a way to say yes to something they can do within your boundaries. Remember, whenever you say no to something inappropriate, I want to say yes to something appropriate. It may not be exactly what your child is wanting or demanding, but I want you to find a way to say yes. In this situation, your child's brain is on fire. You can even see it in their eyes. They're single-minded and focused. So here's kind of a strange phrase to remember. I'd like you to give your child's brain a win. It's really critical to create successes, get positive momentum, and feed that brain in healthy ways. And I know this is hard because your kids don't come into the kitchen or greet you after work and say, Mother, Father, thank you for providing all these opportunities for us that you never had. May I please make some coffee? I'd be ever so grateful if you let me do this. They're not going to do this. So they head straight for the coffee maker. They begin getting into stuff. And your first natural, reasonable response inside is, now you're going to make a huge mess. Get into my coffee beans. I'm going to have to clean it all up. You have no idea how to use the coffee maker, but as usual, you impulsively start touching stuff and studying it to see how it works, and it just bothers me. That's all normal for you to feel like that. And when you try to explain rationally why they can't make coffee this morning, they go into attorney mode and they wear you down with arguments that are actually quite good. And then your tone gets sharper as they keep tinkering with it until it triggers a big fight. And then you're going to be tempted to respond with your own tone. I said no. Did you not hear me? And then you trail off into some useless lecture because that's what we do. But next time, try this process instead. Number one, check your own anxiety and control issues. Check your own triggers. We've done a lot of podcasts on those lately. Number two, say yes to the idea and concept first by affirming something positive. You know what? I think making coffee is a great idea. Now, do you really? No, because you're just going to leave a big mess and you don't want to have to deal with that. You don't have time to get all this done and get your other kids ready for school. So you bite your tongue even as you're thinking inside, great, you're motivated to make coffee, a grown-up thing, but I can't even get you to put your dishes in the sink, take out the trash, tie your shoes, or do one assignment in school. It's frustrating. I get that. But you make this shift in perspective because the other way only leads to power struggles and never really works. So you say, I actually think it's pretty cool and grown up that you know how to do this at your age. But let's take it a couple steps further and actually ask more of your child. So this is really cool. I go to hungryroot.com/calm and I click our food preferences, carb conscious, less sugar, high protein, anti-inflammatory, and immediately I get 10 plus options. So I choose the tzatziki chicken bowl with quinoa with 47 grams of protein. It takes 5 minutes to prepare. It's delicious. No wasted ingredients. No stress battling traffic and grocery store lines. That means more time to enjoy your family and life. HUNGRYROOT is like having your own personal shopper and nutritionist wrapped into one. They recommend healthy groceries and meals tailored to your family's nutrition preferences and tastes. HUNGRYROOT has healthy groceries like smoothies, kid snacks, ready-to-eat meals, and salad kits. We love HUNGRYROOT. So go to hungryroot.com/calm and use code CALM to get 40% off your first box. Plus, get a free item in every box for life. That's hungryroot.com/calm, code CALM to get 40% off your first box. hungryroot.com/calm, code CALM. Eating disorders can drastically change a child's behavior and mood, and it can be scary as a parent watching your child become more angry or withdrawal while struggling with weight loss, dieting, extreme picky eating. These changes are not your kid's fault. It's the eating disorder. The good news is that eating disorder recovery is possible, and the sooner you get help, the better outcome your child will have. That's why I'm excited to introduce you to Equip. Equip is a fully virtual eating disorder treatment program that provides you with evidence-based care so your child can heal at home. Each Equip family has access to a dedicated team of eating disorder experts that include a therapist, dietitian, medical provider, and mentors with lived experience. Equip providers have deep experience treating young people with all kinds of eating disorders, including lesser-known diagnoses like ARFID. Equip has no wait list and is covered by most major insurance plans. If you're concerned about your child's relationship with food, don't wait to get an expert's advice. Visit equip.health/calm for a free consultation with Equip. That's equip.health/calm. Number 3, give your child some ownership within your boundaries. It is a powerful concept. So maybe you say, hey, why don't you become the barista of our home? See, you're giving your child some ownership of this task and actually asking him to assume a more adult-like, more responsible position. This is what I'm after. I don't want your kids to just do what you tell them to do all the time. That's fine. But then I'm setting them up for a life in which their job is to go through life just doing things that they're supposed to do. I wanted to raise a responsible child, so I want more responsibility. So let me repeat that. You're actually asking your child to assume more responsibility. And this is hard for us because we're like, they won't even do simple things that I ask them to do. How can I give them more responsibility? You give them more responsibility in areas that they care about. And I know we want our kids to follow directions, but you know what's even more important? Teaching them to make decisions, to actually think and take on more responsibility. Well, but aren't you just giving in? No, you're the authority figure in the home who holds all the power. I think you are simply exercising that power with wisdom, with humility, with generosity, and you're looking at the larger picture here. Look, I know it's so hard as a parent because you're so incredibly busy managing so many modern day demands that you barely have time to breathe. You're just trying to make it through the day without too many tears and fights. But sometimes we kind of get in a rut and we miss the bigger picture, which is what I'm here for because I'm older. Does it really matter if your child makes a mess? No. Is it inconvenient? Absolutely. But I promise if you look at it the right way, this little morning tradition can teach your child responsibility, provide an opportunity for you to bond together, and build your child's confidence, in many cases in ways that they will never do in school. And that's worth the mess to me. Number 4, continue to challenge your child with even more responsibility. Hey, could you be in charge of the coffee every morning? And now we can add a challenge because our kids tend to like challenges. I've got an idea. Could you look up different recipes with healthy spices you could add to my coffee, like ginger or turmeric? See, instead of the immediate shutdown and ensuing power struggle, you're now engaging your child and giving him a challenge. You could even challenge him to cook a meal for the family one day a week. Many of our kids are excellent, messy chefs. Instead of a long lecture about how your child always wants to do inconvenient things, you are now expecting more of your child. Now, here's another tough idea you have to wrestle with. Your strong-willed child probably won't be great at doing chores, but they will often step up and change the oil in the car, do landscaping or yard work, or cook a meal every week. Good. And I'm going to cover more of that in the next week's podcast. See if this distinction makes sense. I'd rather raise a responsible child than an obedient child. An obedient child merely carries out the instructions, usually of an arbitrary authority figure. But a responsible child must think, analyze different options, judge which options are best, make a decision, live with the consequences, learn from that, make adjustments, lead others. I will tell you as someone with a grown son, the reason Casey is so good at what he does, both with Celebrate Calm and his other pretty much full-time job, is he's extremely responsible. He's really good in the adult world. And when his boss's other job says, Case, I need you to take care of this, they don't have to worry about it because he knows how to make decisions. He knows how to problem solve. And that's what I'm really after. So watch what happens with this. Instead of just complaining to your spouse and friends and yourself that your child is disobedient to your largely arbitrary wishes, instead you begin to change the narrative inside your heart and in your child's head and heart to this. I have a child who is responsible, who is capable of doing adult-type jobs, and that is going to make my child wildly successful in the real world. See the difference from he never listens to anything I say. She doesn't follow through on things. He doesn't do his chores. Why can't she ever do that? Instead, my narrative becomes I give my child a challenge, and this child steps up and takes ownership of it. And now I don't even have to worry about it because they're very responsible when they're doing these things. Now, it's hard because they're not always responsible at the things you want them to be responsible for: schoolwork, hygiene, and chores. But look, your other opportunity, the other option is just spend 18 years trying to get your kids to care about what you care about and try to be good at being a kid and good at doing schoolwork all the time. That will crush their confidence. Instead, I look out to the future and say, this is going to serve you well in the real world. Number 5, this is going to be tough for you, as if the rest of it hasn't been. Know that your child in this situation is going to leave little droplets of coffee and cream and spill sugar and leave little wrappers on the counter, and he's not going to clean up the right way. And I can say that with pretty much 100% certainty. So what's your response to this? One of two things. One, you could use an even matter-of-fact tone and say, hey, I love the job you're doing as barista. Here's one more responsibility or challenge. You need to clean up your mess, or you really haven't done your job. So no more barista job, definitely no tip, until you learn how to clean up. See, I think that's very reasonable. See, you can be tough and firm with your kids as long as you don't do the snotty lecture. You know what? I go out of my way to let you do this, and if you're not going to learn how to clean up, you're not going to get to do coffee anymore. No snotty lectures, just very clear expectations. Now here's another option. And I don't want you to feel guilty doing this. Some of your kids are horrible at cleaning up. You have tried 87 different ways to get them to do it. So instead, you put some music on, you smile, you savor your coffee while you're cleaning up next to your child, having a conversation about all the other responsible things he or she could begin doing. Now, I know this is not how you pictured your child behaving, because some of you grew up thinking, well, I'm just going to tell them what to do and they're going to do it. That's how I grew up. And then you had a strong-willed child who has pushed all your buttons and caused you to grow. This is the child you have been given. And watch what you just did here, which is cool. You took what was a certain power struggle, and nobody wins a power struggle, and you turned it into a bonding moment because you stepped back from your own anxiety, your own control issues, you paused for a minute, and you found a way to say yes to something. Now, here's how another couple, I just got an email on this. We've always struggled with only having one option, the one we grew up with, which was do it or else. So we try to listen to 15 minutes of your programs on our daily commute and then discuss one key concept at night. We can't get to that every night, but we do it on a regular basis. What this has done for us is open up new options without us feeling guilty or like we're doing something wrong. We're getting much better at reading the moment, trusting our instincts. And moms and dads, trust your instincts, unless they're really bad instincts and they don't work. But I want you to trust your instincts with these kids. And instead of listening to the pressure of society and other people's judgments. And we've learned how to problem solve rather than butting heads with our very hard-headed daughter. I love that. Reading the moment is so important. So I want you to practice that in the next few days. Think of some common situations in which you or you and your spouse act like Dr. No all the time. Begin to rethink those situations and ask, how can we be more creative? How can we get to yes? How can we encourage our kids to use their gifts and become more responsible, all within our acceptable boundaries? Watch your child's expression when you say, you know what, I usually say no to this, but I'm going to say yes today with these specific conditions. Again, you're still in control. It's your home. I want you to broaden your boundaries and find that way to yes. You could even add, hey, I wonder if you could even do this better than I can do it. Oh, some kids are going to love that challenge and just know they're going to put it in your face if they do. I love that. Casey and I just did a big hike today. You should have heard the trash talking between us. It was awesome. You know why? Because we love each other and respect each other. And I was better than him today. So I know this isn't easy. I understand, and this is true. I'm challenging many of your most deeply held beliefs and assumptions about parenting and authority figures and laying down the law. So I appreciate you wrestling with these ideas. Other people are going to judge you, and you'll judge yourself sometimes, but I won't, because I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for having the courage to change and try different things that actually work. Okay, go to it, moms and dads and grandparents. You're awesome.